Oh, I forgot. Do you know what? I did this last time. Hold on.
You've got the
Everyone,
countdown.
stay where you are. Stay where you are.
Stop.
Hurrah! I can't help myself. Every time I think I'm Alan Partridge. And yeah, hurrah! It's Matt. Found him. He's not lost in IKEA. Matt King, we sent out Hampshire Search and Rescue, Hansar or something, I think they're called. They found him in Southampton's IKEA with his lovely other half, Tina. I don't know why I hesitated there. In the meatball section. How's it going, Matt?
I'm all right. How are you, Alan?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. I have to say,
IKEA was fun.
Sorry. Yeah, what did you buy in IKEA? I don't think I've been to IKEA since pre-lockdown. So what did you get? Anything exciting?
I spent £600, which can buy you quite a lot in IKEA. We bought a patio set. We bought those big 8-cube things that you can put boxes in to hide toys.
Yeah, we've got them all over our house. Yes, we know those. Yes,
we bought another one of those.
Yeah, you need more. We all need more. We all need more IKEA 8-cube things
and glasses and mats and everything else that you buy when you go to IKEA. That's what we bought.
Now, interestingly, we will actually get on to proper stuff in a moment, but IKEA is a bit like Costco for me. It's borderline impossible to go in and visit without spending minimum £100. You know, I like to try it every now and then, but it does seem tricky. So,
yeah, it's one of those things that you get to go to the marketplace, and then when you're in the marketplace, you suddenly discover that you need vanilla candles or you need a new picture frame.
Of course.
Who doesn't need vanilla candles?
I know, that is very true. That is very true. I tell you what, Matt, look, let's do some proper stuff. So for those who are watching live or on replay, because this is our main replay platform, tell us who you are. I mean, hopefully those who have followed Yellow Tuxedo for a while now should know who you are. But if they don't, please let us know who you are.
Hello, I am Matt King. I am the founder and director. I never know what to call myself, but just the main guy at SalesChange. SalesChange is me. I am SalesChange. And I offer sales coaching, like sales director for hire, basically. So I work with businesses to grow their sales. But I also have a smashing, outstanding Instagram channel at SalesChange for those who want to go and check it out, where I just post content daily, delivering value over and over again regarding sales. And then I do keynotes and all this type of stuff on here. So that's me in a nutshell.
I love it. Now, interesting. I was talking to someone about sales directors the other day, so that is very interesting, and I may put you in contact with them in one moment. But my big question for you is, why sales? I mean, when we sit there and we decide what we're going to do and all these other things, what made you, because I know your past. It's up to you if you want to share what you did in the past or not. It's not anything controversial. It just depends whether
I wasn't a drug runner. I didn't know exactly. Castro.
Exactly.
The other one. Who's the other one who does drugs from Cuba?
Pablo
Escobar.
Oh, that's it. I was going to Picasso. He was the one who cut his ear off, wasn't he? Look at us. This should be a podcast, Matt. Why sales? What got you into sales? I keep meaning to ask you this.
I fell into sales. So as you well know, I was in the army, left the army and went and did landscape gardening. And then somebody said to me, "Oh, you're quite good at talking to people." Like I would talk to people day in, day out, just the people that we were doing the gardens for. So I was doing their electrics, basically. So I'm a trained electrician. Did all that, and then she said, come and have an interview. And I went and had a psychometric, did all this stuff. And bear in mind, I'd done door-to-door selling and that type of stuff before. Got the job, and then the rest, they say, is history. So I've gone from like a normal consultant to a senior consultant to sales manager, business development manager, whatever you want to call it. And now I'm running a valve company across 2 continents, which is mad, but I also do SalesChange. But sales is just the ability to have conversations with people about a specific thing and get them and you solving their problem. I'm getting into my keynote now, which we shouldn't.
Wow, I know. It's it's very tricky not to kind of touch the peripheries of it. But I think perhaps we should talk a bit more then about, unless this is what you're going to cover, why it's still seen as a dirty thing, because it is still seen as a dirty word, isn't it? I've got to sell, especially in small business world where we sort of sit. But what I find interesting is you don't find a large brand having a problem with selling. They're not selling, they're just offering you what they sell, and then allowing you to choose whether you want it. And so I wonder why. Is it this British psyche, this kind of 80s, what I call 80s NatWest Bank British psyche, that still has this, well, we don't trust anyone. So this is what makes me, I appreciate I'm answering my question to you, but I'm going to kind of do it and then hand over. So we basically don't trust anyone in the UK. We all think we're going to be sold, even when we've walked in there to buy something. We still don't trust people selling to us, and all this other stuff. So why is all that? What's that all about? Unless
this all comes down to, I am about to cover this right now. Right. So this is a little bit late. So the reason people are so scared of the word sales and hate the word sales and hate salespeople is because they're afraid of buying something that they don't need, and it all comes down to that need. So when you go into Currys or many other household electrical appliance stores are available, but if you went into Currys or PC World and you got pushed into or cajoled into or talked into buying that gaming mouse that you need, or an additional Hoover for the upstairs of the house rather than the downstairs, and you didn't want that when you went in, that's being oversold to. And it's exactly the same as when you go onto a used car lot and you know that the guy is trying to sell the car which he cannot sell because nobody wants it because it's got a rust bucket bottom. When you're being sold something that you don't need, that's where the poor image of sales comes from. And it stems from people who would just knock your door and try to sell you gas electricity contracts or double glazing. I used to sell double glazing and gas electricity contracts door to door. It's
okay. I've got a background in the mobile phone industry, so I'm not totally exempt from this world.
I think as we've moved into a digital age, Alan, people are more savvy, so people know what they want to buy. Like when I went to buy a drone, because I definitely needed one, I did a huge amount of research around drones and which models were there and how much they were. If I went into a store, let's say a la 90s or 1980s, and you went into Currys and then got told which drone you wanted and it didn't actually fulfill your needs, that's where this underlying and undercurrent of sales is actually really, really crap. Or you got sleazy salespeople trying to give you stuff that you don't need. That's where that undertone is stemmed from. But people are a lot more savvy now.
No, they are, and that's the review nature, the review culture online, isn't it? And then we're now in this world where we don't trust reviews, and it's like, well, you got to trust something somewhere. Interestingly, it's that kind of commission-based reward as well from the sales industry, isn't it? They were rewarded for how much they sold. So of course there was a cutting corners mentality at times, and
that's an instant way to lose a sale, by the way. If you tell your client or your customer how much you're going to make off the sale, it immediately destroys any trust they've got in you, because they know that's your motivation.
Well, when one of the many retail companies I've been involved with over the years, I love retail. I don't know if I've ever shared this. I'm a proper retail geek. I absolutely, like, if there's a documentary on a shop, I will watch it. I love it. But their bonus was done on shrink, on loss. So it was kind of that they were basically minimize how much was lost, wasted, everything else. But it did actually factor in how much was sold, but they put the emphasis on how much was given away, discounted, reduced, sold, and stolen and everything else, which I always found quite interesting way of doing it.
Are you watching a program on Channel 4 at the moment called The Moneymaker? It's a mix between Dragon's Den and The Secret Billionaire. And there's this guy who goes into companies and looks at them. You're writing this down, aren't you? You're going to Google it. It's And the guy goes into businesses and looks at what they're not doing very well. And the business that they looked at this week, and I only know this because they flashed up his Instagram channel, was the_Sussex_kitchen. And they basically make like fresh bread, fresh croissants, and deliver it to your door. It was really interesting because as soon as they flashed up the Instagram handle on the telly, you just saw his followers go from 5,500 to like 7,500 in about 5 minutes. So it was really fun. Yeah. But he basically goes into these businesses and identifies what is wrong, which is essentially what I do, but he gives them money so he can become part of the business, so he can take a bit of the profits. But he looks at businesses. I don't know where I'm going with this, but he looks at businesses and tell them where they're going wrong. And the main thing that this guy was doing wrong is that he invested 0 into social media, 0 into SEO, 0 into digital marketing, and didn't believe that would have an impact to his business.
Well, the funny. I mean, this is we need to kind of wrap up, but as we've moved into the social media side of it, Emily, and obviously everything you just mentioned is what we do at Yellow Tuxedo, and is what the Digital Circus Live's about. So perhaps we should work even closer together, Matt King. Who knows?
It's a huge segue.
It is a huge segue, but yeah, no, it is, and we see a lot of people who just don't. I don't know if they don't get it or don't quite realize the potential and opportunity from it. And you know, the thing is, so any business, even if they are geographically kind of restricted, as in, you know, they bake bread and they sell it to their next door neighbors, that's all they do, right? Any business can benefit from that growth online, you know, for the introduction of new revenue streams, from kind of appeasing their current client base and everything else. It's ridiculous, the potential opportunity and growth. And that's what we're trying to get across. And that's what the Digital Circus Live's all about.
And that plays nicely into my workshop, which is how you can sell those additional services that you're going to find out about at the Digital Circus Live. All of that stuff needs to be wrapped into one big package that you can give to your clients, but you need to do it in a specific way. And you can find out on the 18th of May, 2021, Digital Circus Live. Come and see my workshop. Boom!
Yes, boom! Drop a mic. I don't want to drop this mic because I quite like it, but drop the mic. I don't have a budget at James Corden. Drop the mic. On that note, let me do a quick The Digital Circus Live rundown. I feel like Andy Peters in the kind of broom cupboard today. I don't know why. I think it's because I'm moving pens around. Digital Circus Live.
You've got Gordon the Gopher.
No, did I tell you I've met Andy Peters? When we were
I've seen a video where you walk past him. Is that?
I'm having that as Matt. We exchanged words. We exchanged words loosely. But there is a video on our Yellow Tuxedo YouTube of me going, "Hi, Andy Peters," basically, and he laughs at my joke. That's what happens. Anyway, the Digital Circus Live, 18th of May. Tickets are on sale right now for £35. And there's so much. I can't really get it all across in this, but I will try and get as much across as possible. We've got 4 areas. We're using a platform called Hopin. It's not Zoom. So you get to choose what you go and see. It's a very key part of how the Digital Circus Live is going to work. So there's a networking area. So if you want to network with everyone who's there, you can go and do that. Then we have an expo. Yeah, Matt will be there. There'll be an expo area where you can just go and peruse all these businesses and have a look and have a chat with people in their booths and everything else. It's very cool. Then we have our main stage. I'm going to finish on the workshops because that's where Matt is. We have the main stage. We have 6 amazing keynote speakers. We've got people like Yanni Lunga, Mark Masters, we've got Ricky Locke and Paul Whitewick and Rebecca Whitewick off of YouTube and their Historic Railway YouTube channel, all talking about that kind of the opportunity and the growth and their inspiring and motivational stories that surround that. Mark's talking about building your audience and Jan's talking about using audio as a business asset, and Paul and Rebecca are sharing their YouTube story. It's all very cool stuff. Then in the workshops, we're talking about how to do it all. We got people like the amazing Matt King from SalesChange who's going to be talking about sales, as we've just covered. We've got live streaming covered, YouTubing covered, podcasting covered. We've got branding covered, photography covered. We've got mindset covered, and we've got strengths and your strengths covered, because that's really important, because it's all very well showing you how, but it has to start with you, and that's why we've got that covered as well. And we've got all of that and much more. So check out the link below. It's scrolling around there somewhere. And a bit of gin tasting at the end. Yeah, one of our fab keynote speakers is going to be sharing her great lockdown pivot story that got her onto The Only Way is Essex. And she pivoted from a horsebox bar to online and ended up being on Towie. And she's going to be sharing her story and doing some gin tasting for the final session of the day. So yeah, get your ticket today, £35. Interestingly, today we're running an offer for everyone who buys their ticket today is going to be put in a draw to win one of the please. Now, obviously, if you're new to Yellow Tuxedo, you're probably going, what the heck? And if you're not new to Yellow Tuxedo, you're probably going, what the heck? But interestingly, everyone who buys a ticket today in a draw to win an I'm Alan Braithwaite t-shirt. Only 4 in the world, and I own one of them. Right. Matt, thank you very, very much. We are done. We are off to Instagram for the after party. So we'd love for you to join us there live in 1 second. And yeah, come and see me. Well, you won't see me and Emily, actually. We're not there. But come and see Matt and everyone else at the Digital Circus Live on the 18th. Thanks, Matt.
See you soon.